Good morning, fellow traders. It's Black Coffee Trader. Today is Wednesday, April the 30th, last day of the month. Let's make it a good one, right? All right, it is time to do the daily trade plan. Spent some time here this morning charting some levels. A couple of things I really want to point out. Yesterday, the high of day yesterday, or the area we were looking at to break on the Nasdaq, was the 19620s. Really, we really needed it to. We needed a break and hold above the 620s for this market to move higher, and we did catch that yesterday. This is on the 30-minute chart, so it's a little bit. Maybe a little bit more difficult to see, but if you look at yesterday before the close in mid-afternoon, we broke above that 620 range, this high right here, and we could not break, we couldn't hold it and really take a move above it. I was looking for this move to set up, honestly, for since going into from last week, I was actually looking for this to set up and get a break and retest long above the 620s, 600, 620s area, and it happened yesterday, and it did go long, but we just couldn't, the move didn't continue. And what's really concerning to me is that in the overnight session, we gave all that back, and we came all the way back down, and we're kind of, zigzagging here a little bit, but it's pretty clear to me if you look at the Nasdaq. To me, the 19460s to the 19400s is kind of a zone that, in my opinion, really needs to hold for further upside. I'm not really interested in trading anything from the high of day yesterday around the 690s, around the 19690s, all the way down here to this level around the 460s. I think this is a really dangerous area. But if you look here, I drew some arrows for clarity's sake. We had a rejection of this area back here on the 24th. So we have rejection. We turn this into support in the overnight session yesterday or last night. So to me, this is big. We really have to hold this 460-400 for this thing to continue to push higher. If we lose this area, if we lose the 400s, we're also losing this big high market push from back here on April the 9th. And so if we lose that area, we're looking for downside, in my opinion. You could make a case here that you've got your, this is your low, this is your rejection spot right here, and you kind of have it. Whoops, and I didn't mean to do that. That was my yesterday's. I can reset that. I think it might have been somewhere here. We could also say that right here, notice this little low. And notice this little low here, but I think the clarity point, the point that's really clear is this line right here. There's a lot of holds right there, and then we almost tested that last night. So, in my opinion, this is the big deal. We really need to stay above the 460s, 400s, 460s on the Nasdaq, and really, I'm looking for a break and retest above yesterday's highs. This 19,690 level, which is also pretty clear. If you go back a ways. Look at the 690s. Okay, I was thinking ES. ES is a lot more clear. We do have right here, this is the 400, 460 level. This is a pretty good hold and a support area from back here in March. But we really do need to break above. And this is, you've got some holds coming in here back in March around the 690s. Here you've got a major hold around the 690s. If we can get above that, we should get some free air up into the 20,400 or 20,000s, and then a nice little move up into the 20,600. So if this thing can break and go, we've got some juice. I think we can go somewhere. I am somewhat concerned that this is turning into a bear flag. A little bit. It's not really as bear flaggy because we haven't had to move down and then move back up. This is really more of a V shape, but I don't like this channel. This channel that's just, it keeps trending. We really need a catalyst move, and maybe the market, some of the news we have coming today. Today's very heavy this morning. I'll go over that here in a minute. But some of the news that's going on today may push this market one way or the other and get us out of this zone. I mean, this has really been a pretty nasty zone. If you look at a very difficult zone, really from about here, right in this area, that has just been a mess. And so Just something to really be careful of. But I think it's pretty clear. We need to hold, in order for longs to set up, we really need to hold these areas. Again, I'm not looking to trade between the 460s and the 690s. We need the market to break and hold above, get a break and retest long, and we've got some upside there. And if that does not hold and we lose out below these, I mean, I really almost should make this red X should almost come down to the 400s. But if we lose the 400s, then we look for shorts into this, still have this gap filled down here below. So that's the plan on the NAS. Let's look at ES. Pretty similar, actually. You've got almost a little bit more clarity on the rejection front. Notice how you've got 1, 2, 3, 4 rejections coming in here at the 5560s to the 5555s. This was a major level from intraday yesterday, right in here. But and we retested that last night in the overnight, and we're kind of flirting with it here again. But I think this is the same area that should hold. So we got rejection, 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 turned it into support in the overnight. You could also look at, whoops, didn't mean to do that. You could also see support here. And you've got a little bit of support here last part of the day yesterday, actually midday yesterday, we got a little bit of support. But this to me is pretty clear that we turn these rejections into support on the ES, and that definitely could set up something on the upside. I'm also not looking to trade between the 560s and also the 5600s ES. We want to flip and break above. Again, this is a setup I was looking for, is a break above the 5560s on ES, or the 5560s. And we got it yesterday, but we couldn't push above it. We just couldn't hold. Nothing really happened. We got above it, but we couldn't go. Rejected it in the overnight session. And that's where we're at. You could make the case that the zone on ES really could be down to the 5517s. I'll have to really keep an eye on this intraday. I like the NASDAQ. The NASDAQ to me is a little bit more clearer. But ES, this is very clear right in this area. But if this does not hold, I did mark in like a short plan. This is not a trade plan here, but this red arrow here is a short plan. If we get a good break and retest below this 55-55 area, that could set up a nice short only down into the 55-20. So a pretty short little area, and maybe a little bit dangerous area. If we get below that, you could look for a tiny little short down into the 5490s, 5485s into these lows. And if we lose that, then you've got a free fall, probably pushing almost all the way down to this little gap fill. I do have a long setup. If we fall below this and we hold this area at the 5590s, that could set up a long back up into this, but you're also longing back into a pretty heavy area, so that's something to be careful of. But there's some opportunity potentially here. I think the biggest thing again is a break and retest above the 5560s, or the 5600s, you should say 5600. If we can break above the 5600s, that would be the move that we're looking for, and there's a lot of upside to that. You could really see a lot of upside to that move there. Let's look at why some of these areas are so important. I think it's pretty clear to see. We're holding this zone area from the 55, 5560s. That is this zone right here that comes into play before the big market drop. And it also is a low from back here in March as well. And this high area that we want to break, the 5600s, is a low area from March. We got several holds. We got another hold from back here in early April. So yeah, that is something we definitely want to see this thing break. But it's pretty clear. It's pretty clear to me what needs to happen, and for this market to continue. I am obviously more of a bull than a bear. I love taking the market long. I'm a lot more comfortable that way. But you obviously have to trade what the market gives you. Excuse me. Okay, hopefully my throat's better. Haven't had enough coffee yet. That's my typical thing in the morning. All right, moving on to gold. Very little changes in gold. We are still just chopping around the zone. I did adjust this a little bit. My long setup really would be above the low of day yesterday. The low of day yesterday is creating a bit of a channel on gold. You've got this low coming in around the 3307s. holding here, rejection, rejection, hold, and so we fell through it. So if we get a break and retest above, that could be a nice little long trade, potentially way up here if it can push its way through there. But be cautionary about these highs here. If we fall below this level, this high from back here in early April, if we fall below that, you could set up some shorts to the downside. So not much change there. The Dow as well, very little changes here. Kind of the no trade zone is the low of day yesterday. If we get a break below the low of day yesterday, you could set up a short down into this area right here on the 39,400s, and you could also have a short back down into the 38.5s if we fall below that. This long is something I've talked about the last couple of days, that if we fall all the way down here, that would be an area I'd be looking to take a long on. But obviously the biggest trade I'm looking for, and the one I'm really looking for, is this break and retest of above the 41 140s. That's the long that we're looking for on the Dow Jones. So that's the plan for today. Again, we're really paying attention to the NASDAQ. A lot of news this morning. Let's just pull up the calendar here. So this morning we've got 8:15, which is coming up here in about half an hour or so. We've got ADP non-farm employment change. That's a pretty big deal. Advanced GDP. We've got unemployment cost index. So 3 red folder events from 8:15 to 8:30. You've also got this core PCE price index at 10 o'clock. You got pending home sales at 10. So today might be one of those days where we really don't look to take any trades until after 10 a.m. from not really until 10:15, until this thing kind of settles out. You've also got this tentative President Trump speaking, and this is one of those where it's why we have stop losses, because when he speaks we could have massive moves one way or the other, depends on what comes out of his mouth. So we have to be very careful about that. But a pretty heavy day today, and this morning with all this news we have going on between 8:15 and 10 o'clock, we could really maybe that's the catalyst this that we need in this market to really get a move, and we get a definitive on, are we going higher or are we going lower? And that could help us to set up the trade plan today. So again, it's going to be one of those where the plan that I'm putting together right now on these different indexes could change by the time 10 a.m. rolls around. But I think that the main point, the thesis, the zones, the areas are going to be the same. The point is just where's the market going to move based off of some of this news, and does that really, do we really look for shorts then, or do we really look for long? So anyway, keep your eyes wide open. That's the game plan for today. Once again, thanks for following along. Hope you get some value out of this daily game plan. It does help me tremendously. I have really noticed over the last, I just started doing it this week, and I really, it has kept me out of some really nasty areas in the market, because I have a game plan that I'm setting up here in the morning. My head is clear. I've got a lot of mental bandwidth, and I'm not thinking on my intraday brain in emotion during the market movements, and I'm really focused on, okay, this was the plan I had in the morning, and does the trade set up? And if it does, great. And if it does not, we just don't take it. And that has really been helpful for me. So hopefully you get some value out of that as well, and maybe you do the same thing. So, all right, I'll leave you with that. Have a great day. Be careful out there. Let's end April on a green note. We'll catch up with you on the next one. Take care, and so long.